This video is sponsored by Incogni. In the early hours of September 29th, Disney announced a new Simpsons movie, but try as they might to bury the lead, as it were, Deadline Hollywood still put it in their title. New Simpsons movie set summer 2027 release, taking over Marvel feature date. And that's the real story here. Not that they're making another Simpsons movie, even though the show has been on air non-stop for a lifetime, but that's what's put on the release calendar in the place of yet another Marvel movie being removed from it. Because that is what Disney has been doing as of late. Not announcing new Marvel projects, but scrapping the ones they've been working on behind the scenes. We're about to see why they would do that, and spoiler alert, the future of the MCU is not as secure as one might think. But before we do, and on the topic of security, we all have to get with the times. You see, banks don't keep cash around anymore, so criminals had to evolve, and in that process, your data became their new currency. The data you leave behind whenever you order some goods or service, or even just sign up for a newsletter, is being resold by data brokers. And even major data breaches are ultimately about getting to your data, as that can be used not just to tailor ads, but at worst to commit scams, fraud, identity theft, or other illegal acts, like taking out loans in your name. Good news is, they can't harm you if they can't find you, and that's where Incogni, this video sponsor, comes into the picture. They not only protect your privacy by actively reaching out and demanding these data brokers remove anything they have on you in a fully automated process. With their custom removals feature, they also reach out to any website you point out where your data already is exposed, and do the same there. There are a number of other parties of various repute in the personal data removal space, yet Incogni is the first and only to receive independent third-party verification by Deloitte for actually removing personal data from hundreds of data broker sites and private databases, sending you regular follow-ups and tracking real confirmation responses. All you have to do is create an account, grant Incogni the right to work on your behalf, choose your plan, and kick back and relax while they do the work for you, keeping you up to date with the progress every step of the way. Since this video is sponsored by Incogni, we naturally have a deal for you. Use our code MIDNIGHT at the link in the description, and you'll get 60% off an annual Incogni plan. So head down to the description and get your data protected now. With that, let's get into the full significance of yet another Marvel movie being taken off the calendar. Let's continue with that Deadline Hollywood story, which reads, there's a new Simpsons movie, and it's coming out on July 23rd, 2027. The second Simpsons movie to hit the screen will fill a date for Disney that's simultaneously being vacated by an untitled Marvel movie. That, obviously, is the really big deal here, but the write-up continues. The Simpsons movie was released in July 2007 and it was a hit, opening to $74 million and making $193 million domestic and more than $536 million worldwide. It was a time when TV properties, even if they were still on television, could excel on the big screen at the same time. The implication of that sentence is that they no longer do, which begs the question, why do another Simpsons movie now, when more and more are actively calling for the series to be cancelled? As again, it's been going on for a lifetime. Better yet, why didn't they do a sequel years ago, when the getting was still good? We actually know the answer to this, because the people behind The Simpsons told us, and they did so a mere 3 months ago. Based on an initial write-up in Screen Daily, MovieWeb wrote at the time, i.e. June 15th, fans of The Simpsons, and more specifically of 2007's The Simpsons movie, there's some bad news for you. Despite the first movie being critically acclaimed and becoming one of the highest grossing films of that year, there are still no plans to make a sequel to The Simpsons movie. The first movie killed us, The Simpsons creator Matt Groening says when addressing the possibility of repeating the feat that took the beloved Springfield family to the big screen. Per a report by Screen Daily, Groening was present at the Annecy International Animation Film Festival with The Simpsons movie director David Silverman and series writer and showrunner Matt Selman. the trio presented a preview of the animated series' upcoming 37th season. Additionally, they each offered their own opinion on the possibility of a sequel based on the popular series. It was Groening who revealed that the experience of making the first movie was too much for the team because they had to continue making the show at the same time. "We don't have a B team. We did the movie and continue doing the series at the same time. We even had a countdown clock on the wall. We called it the Simpsons death clock, counting down the months, weeks, days, seconds till we had to have the movie finished. And it made us break down. So in a perfect world, we would do another movie. We'll see." Rather hilariously, the piece ends with the publication shooting down the idea of a sequel and editorializing why one should not be made today. The Simpsons is not raunchy enough to draw out the gods of political correctness, but there's a big chance that, if a sequel were to be produced, the result after the test screenings would be a 22-minute episode with jokes that didn't offend anybody. And yet, 3 months later, here we are with a new Simpsons movie suddenly being announced. I don't think that is so much about anyone wanting a new Simpsons movie, or the creatives even having an idea for one, as it is about a Marvel movie suddenly being removed from the calendar and The Simpsons being Disney's best way of plugging that calendar hole, while distracting everyone from the fact that yet another Marvel movie just got cancelled. Cosmic Book News made that point in their piece "Disney Ditches Marvel 2027 Release Date for Simpsons Movie", which reads, "Disney has opted to ditch a Marvel release date and instead go with a new movie for The Simpsons." Marvel Studios previously had an untitled release date set for July 23, 2027, but that date will now be for The Simpsons movie. The news follows recent reports that Disney will be focusing on original IPs instead of Marvel and Star Wars to lure back the Gen Z crowd, and how Marvel is on the decline and is no longer a guarantee. As for which Marvel movie this might have been, the piece continues, the untitled Marvel movie hasn't been given a new release date, but it was supposed to come between Doomsday and Secret Wars. It's unknown what the MCU movie could have been, but interestingly enough, it lines up with the speculation that Shang-Chi 2 isn't happening, which comes with Simu Liu's recent Superman comments and photo that he posted of himself to Instagram. And that's a reference to the jealousy he displayed when Superman got a sequel announced in a matter of weeks after its release, while he's still waiting for Shang-Chi 2, nigh on half a decade later. Anyway, the story continues. It's also known that Marvel put Blade on the back burner. Some fans also thought the 2027 release date might have been for Doctor Strange 3. Well, that's not happening. With the July 2027 release date cancelled, that presently only leaves one Marvel movie getting released in 2027 with Secret Wars. The point is then made that the MCU appears to be on hiatus. Following Captain America Brave New World, Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four underperforming, the MCU is on a big hiatus until the releases of Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. Sony's Spider-Man 4 also gets released prior. And then we get to the actual schedule, which now shows a mere 6 MCU movies for the next 3 years. 1 Spider-Man, 2 Avengers, and 3 unknown for 2028. And then nothing. Of course, they can announce more things tomorrow, but in recent years, the Marvel trend has been scrapping what they were internally developing, not announcing anything new. What could that mean? Well, let's speculate. I stress that I don't know this. This is purely speculation on my part. But this tells me that they're losing faith that Marvel will be able to get out of the rut that they've been in ever since Kevin Feige got complete and unrestricted creative control of the MCU, loaded it with DEI and messaging, and then ran it firmly into the ground. This tells me that the reports we've heard of production trouble behind the scenes of Avengers Doomsday are not only true, but that what we've heard is but the tip of the iceberg. This tells me that while they're hoping for the best, Disney is afraid Avengers Doomsday is going to be a massive flop, and they're bracing for impact, scrapping projects left and right. And rightfully so, because there's barely any goodwill left among the fans. They've squandered it all on making movies that were supposed to grow the brand beyond its current base. A base which consisted of pretty much everyone of movie-going age in the world, by alienating and driving almost all of them away, all in the name of being inclusive. Just look at the animated Marvel zombies. Even though no one is watching, it still managed to become a laughingstock. And ironically, Marvel is a zombie franchise at this point, because while it's still moving, it's dead without realizing it. Consider Avengers Doomsday. That is on track to be the single most expensive movie ever made, and by a wide margin. Yet it was a last-minute replacement for another movie altogether, namely Avengers the Kang Dynasty. There is no hype for RDJ taking on another role, even if that is Doom. And worst of all, the movie will, for the most part, be led by the new cast introduced since Endgame, mostly on Disney+. But no matter where they debuted, they were, for the most part, rejected by the audience. And now, those rejects have to save the MCU. Only they're not on-screen rejects, they were rejected by the audience. While miracles can still happen, yet another MCU movie being scrapped from the calendar strongly suggests that Disney don't believe any miracles will be forthcoming this time. Do you? Let me know in the comments, and before you go, remember to protect yourself and your data online with Incogni. Use our code MIDNIGHT at the link in the description, and you'll get 60% off an annual Incogni plan. So head down to the description and get your data protected now.